everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Anastasia and thank you for clicking on another video. Today I'm going to be doing my 1-year anniversary video of living in the RV. I'm so excited to talk to you about my journey of living in the RV. I've really taken time to think this video through and I've made notes of what I want to talk about, the pros, the cons. I don't want this video to seem like I'm complaining in any way. I just wanted to be clear that I love living in my RV. This is my little dream home. I love it. I think it's great. It's perfect. And I'm just going to share with you transparently some of the things that I think are considered cons. You know, there's pros and there's cons to everything. And just living in the RV for a year, I've really had time to see, okay, well, this is kind of annoying. You know, this, if I could tweak this, or if we could go back and pick a different RV, things like that. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. A couple of you asked, you know, what's the difference between living in a regular home and living in an RV? What are the major differences? So I'm going to get into that. I'm also going to talk about a little bit about the expenses and the cost of living. Obviously, we made this decision because we wanted to downsize, we wanted to simplify our lives, we wanted to be able to save money so that way we can build our dream home on our property, and that's the goal. That's still the goal. We wanted to be done in a year. That didn't happen, so now we're working on our second year of living in the RV, and I think we'll probably be moving into a house within the next 6 months. If we don't start building within the next 6 months. So we're kind of exploring our options at this point. But I'm just going to jump right into it. So yay, hooray, we made it a year and now we're starting on our second year. So I'm going to start off with the pros and then I'm going to go into the cons because there's actually more cons in this video than there are pros, because I feel like the past couple of videos that I've done about living in the RV have been very super positive, and that's because I'm really happy with what we've done and what we've built here, and just being able to downsize your life, I think in itself is an accomplishment. So I've been really proud of that. But I do want to be completely honest with everyone. If you are considering living in an RV, I want to be able to share with you some obstacles that you might face on the transition and the journey of downsizing your life. So I'm going to start off with the pros. The number one pro, obviously, saving money. So let's get a little bit into that. So for the monthly expenses of the RV, they are our electric bill. $150 is the average, about that $130 to $150, and that's during the hot months because we constantly run the air conditioning units. We have 2 units in our fifth wheel, so I like it cold. I sleep with it on 68, so it's constantly running throughout the night. So that's why our bill is a little bit more. However, in my house, my 2,600 square foot house, the bill was usually around $300. So we've cut that bill in half. So that's actually really good. We do pay a lot fee to park where we are. We are in an RV park. The lot fee is about $330 per month, which is not bad if you look at it as a rent or even a mortgage payment. You can look at it however you'd like. That's the cost of us living here in this space. Now, the beauty of our RV is we can move it anywhere we want. So there very well may be a time where we move it onto our property. Once we have set up the water and the plumbing and all of the electric, we'll be able to move that on our property, and then we don't have that lot fee anymore. And then we just have the cost of the RV. The RV is about $300, $320, something like that, for the actual loan on the RV that we have. So that can fluctuate depending on what kind of RV you choose to get, or if you pay it outright. However you choose to do that and finance it will fluctuate in the monthly expense. So our water and our garbage is free, and they also maintain the little lot that we have. So they come, they take our garbage away, they also mow and weed whack, and they pressure wash, and it's amazing. It really is. My husband doesn't like to do yard work. I don't like to do yard work. It is hot. So the fact that that's included in our lot fee, it just makes it very easy, and I really enjoy that they take care of those things for us. So that is definitely a pro. The garbage is free, and the one of the unexpected expenses, it wasn't really unexpected, but it's just an added expense that you don't have in a house, is the propane. We run our stove on propane, which depending on your RV, you could get an electric run stove. It just depends on how you choose to set up your RV, but mine is gas, so we have to buy propane. The propane is probably $30 to $50 per tank to fill. However, we've lived here for a year and we've only had to fill one halfway up. It was like $30, and that's because we thought it was empty, but it really wasn't. It was like halfway. So the propane tanks last a really long time. We've never had any issues with it. So that's a minuscule fee, if you ask me. It probably would be $30, I'd say every $30 to $50 every year and a half, which is nothing. Another unexpected expense would be the toilet paper. So we have to buy a special RV toilet paper. It dissolves a lot faster and breaks down a lot easier than a regular toilet paper would, and it is a little bit more expensive. Probably a couple dollars difference, which is not that big of a deal, but that's something that we really didn't think about or anticipate or even know about until we actually got into the RV, and then we started reading up on things and noticed that there's a special toilet paper that you have to use. Okay, so that talks about that. Another pro would be, and this is a pro and a con, okay? So I'll just kind of like go down my list and talk about everything. So the next pro would be the laundry mat, the laundry facility, being able to do all of my laundry in one. I just did 7 loads of laundry the other day. We've been sick and we've been on vacation, so I'm still getting caught up, which is why these videos are like a week late. But we actually love that we're able to do all the laundry. However, when I went to go do laundry last time, it was disgusting because there was like little animal hair, like dog hair or cat hair, all dirt all around like 3 of the washers, and I had 7 loads to do, so I had to use all of the washers. So I actually personally had to take a paper towel and like clean it down because it was disgusting. It looked like there was like blood or something. I don't know. I've never seen it like that because we do have a cleaning crew that is amazing. This is the first incident I've ever had, but it has to be mentioned. Like when I was cleaning it, I'm like, I have to talk about this because this is disgusting and this just wouldn't happen in your own home. So obviously we share the facilities here, so you just have random people going in and washing their clothes. So you have smokers where you can actually, in the dryers, you can smell the smoke sometimes after smokers used it. People washing their dirty clothes and they just like don't have a care to clean up after themselves, so that's kind of frustrating. But again, that doesn't happen often at all. It's only ever happened one time to me, and it was just the other day. So I love that I'm able to do all my laundry in one sitting. I don't love that I have to share the machines with random people. And another thing I don't love is the quality of the washing machines. So since we've been here, I've probably thrown away more clothes than I ever have in my life because the whites, for some reason, and even some of the other, like my husband's shirts really tend to get it bad. Most of my clothes are black, so I don't really have a lot of issues, but the lighter colored clothes, you can actually start to see little rings. It almost looks like water spots or oil spots on our clothing. And my husband has actually taken some of his clothes and washed them at his mom's house, and there's no issue. They come right out. The spots come right out. So it's really just the quality of the machine. Something with the agitation isn't great with the quality of the washing machine. So it just doesn't do a good job. Whereas if you're at home, you have like your good, you know, I don't know, I used to have a Whirlpool in the house, and that was like a good washing machine. I could do a full load and everything got clean. I didn't have to worry about it. Whereas here, things aren't really washing as well as they could be. So that's something that I really don't care for either. I try to stay away from washing my whites, to be honest, because it's like, and if I get something on it, it's just like, well, this is just done. Particularly my black shirts, when I'm putting my makeup on, I always get foundation on my clothing, and that is like the worst. Liquid foundation is the worst. So even if you scrub it out and throw it in the washing machine, here it's not going to take it out. So I just have to come to terms with that shirt, it's going in the trash. And that I do not like, my friends. So that is considered a big con for me. Now, I will say my fifth wheel is set up for a washer dryer, so I could go out and buy one and have it here. However, they're a lot smaller. They're about $4,000, and I don't want to do one load at a time. I just don't want to do that. It's like a mini washing machine, so you're literally doing probably like 3 towels at a time. I just can't do that. So we haven't bought that because I don't see the point in investing in it, honestly, and it's probably not the greatest quality either. So I'll just stick it out and we'll just get through this. That's all I can say about that. So, okay, so another pro would be cutting down the clutter. So when we were moving, it was like, okay, do we really need this? Let's go ahead and put this in storage. So we actually ended up selling a lot of our stuff. We ended up throwing out and donating a lot of our stuff, and then putting the rest in storage. And now that it's been in storage for a year, I'm just like, do we even really need that stuff? Like, we've gone a whole year without missing it. We've gone a whole year without looking at it or even knowing where it is, because we have stuff at my mom's house, we have stuff at his mom's house, we have stuff down here in the garage underneath our RV. So there are things scattered everywhere, and it just really is eye-opening to see like how much you need and like what really is going to fulfill your life. I think a lot of times we think the more stuff we have, the more richly blessed we are, and that's just not the case. I think that this whole journey has really shown me like you don't need materialistic things to be happy and to be rich or feel like you are accomplished or successful. I think the less you have, the better. The less you have to worry about, the less you need to maintain, and the less you have, the more you value the things you actually do have to utilize and have with you. So I've really loved being able to kind of declutter my life and kind of condense all the stuff, the unnecessary stuff. So that's been great. Living more minimally, that goes in line with what I just said, and that I put down as a pro. All right, so let's go on to the cons. So crappy washers we talked about, spots on clothes we talked about, no space. So with all that being said, it is difficult to not have your own space. Now, there are a lot of times like right now, my husband's out in the living room, my son's sleeping in his room, I'm in my bedroom, where I mostly hang out all the time because I prefer to watch TV laying down. I'm usually on my phone anyway. I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm usually on my phone anyway, and this is just like my calm space, my quiet time. But I would much prefer to have a makeup room where I could have all my makeup and have all my stuff spread out. And when I make these videos, I actually am sitting on my bed right now, so I have to like clean up everything, put everything away after the video, take everything out every video that I do, hang up this backdrop from the ceiling. I mean, it's just crazy. And it would be really nice, like in my house I had like a beauty room, I had my art room where it was just great. I am very creative and I love to do different things. So I had one area of my room set up with all my paints and my canvases. Then I had another area set up like with my desk and my office stuff because I work from home. And then I had, you know, my vanity with all my makeup and my shelves full of makeup, and it was just great. And I had the backdrop set up all the time, so it was just a very easy process to just come in, film, and do what I needed to do. So I do miss the space. I miss having my own little room that I can fill the walls with paintings and pictures and just have my own creative space. And it's difficult to do that when you're in a small space like this. But it's a sacrifice. I mean, you adjust to whatever. We adjust really well as humans. We'll be all right. But if I had to choose to have a space of my own, I think I would. So that's something, you know. And there's no rooms. And then I put in here garage, so there's no real garage space. We call it the garage, but really it's just like a cubby. If you actually go on my outside tour, my outside RV tour, I'll put the link in the description box and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. I actually do a full tour of the whole RV and show you inside the garage. So there's not a lot of room in there. And that's difficult because we have a 4-year-old, so, you know, we have his bike, we have his little scooter, and we have, you know, all of his little floaties for the pool and things like that. And it would just be nice to have a garage that we can just kind of throw all that garbage in and all the extra stuff. And he can't have his little motorized car here because there's no place to put it, so we have to keep it at, you know, my mother-in-law's house. And the bigger toys obviously can't be stored here either, so he can only play with them when he goes away over there. So, I mean, there are just little things like that with the lack of space that we miss. Having one bathroom, that's probably at the top of the list, I think. Having a 4-year-old and having a husband, and then having me who wants to do my makeup and my hair in the bathroom like a regular person, but I can't because someone else has to use the bathroom or take a shower, and it's just like not ideal. It's not that big of a deal, but it's not ideal. So we do miss having multiple bathrooms. Our bathroom back home used to have like its own little private, the toilet had its private room, so I could be getting ready in the mirror and my husband could go to the bathroom and, you know, have his privacy. So that we do miss. No shower pressure is another con. We have, in an RV, you have one hose that is your source of water, and that one hose needs to be split amongst the faucets. So if you're doing the dishes and you have to come and take a shower, you will have like no water pressure. If you have, and I think that there's like some kind of, I'm not sure, but I think there's like a bypass system, because it seems that if I were in the bathroom and my son's taking a shower and I'm washing my hands or brushing my teeth with the water running and I go to flush the toilet, all the water will stop and go to the toilet to flush. So I think there's like a bypass system that will take precedence of where that water needs to go. But that cuts back in all the other areas. So it's a little frustrating when I'm doing dishes and then, you know, someone goes to the bathroom and then the water cuts off, and it's just, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just something that's different than living in a house. You won't have to worry about that. And I don't take a shower here because it doesn't wash the soap out of my hair. The water pressure, even without anything else running, the water pressure is really kind of crappy. Just imagine taking a shower with the water hose out in your yard. It's not the greatest. So I'm blessed that we are parked right across the street from the bathrooms, which have all shower stalls. It's like a locker room, women's locker room, and they have a men's. And the shower pressure is great over there. So I just shower over there. It's right across the street. It's not a big deal for me. My husband does shower here. He doesn't have a full head of hair like I do to wash and get soap out of. But that is something I miss. I do miss like being able to just have a nice bath or have a nice shower in my own home. So that's something that we'll enjoy when we get into our house. Another thing, the air conditioner systems, they are loud. So right now my room is set to 77 because I don't want the air conditioner to go off while I'm recording, because you won't be able to hear me. It is so loud, and it's so loud in the living room too. Like, it's not such a big deal here in the bedroom, but when we're watching TV in the living room, we literally have to crank up the volume on the TV all the way up to 100 in order to hear it over the AC. And then the AC, when it adjusts, it'll kick off, and then the TV's blaring, and then you lower it. It's just like this process of up and down, up and down. And when my son's sleeping, it's like we don't want to be too loud. So the air conditioners are a little bit of a pain. But they keep us cold, so I'm not complaining too much. Oh, another thing, bugs. So that's a huge one. Okay, so we have pest control. We have someone actually come out and spray about every 6 months, and then we have like the regular house spray that you can buy. However, we are surrounded by trees, and because we are in an RV, we have slides. So the RV expands and then it slides out. So when it slides out, there's only a little flap of plastic and rug that's closing to the outside. So there's like a space probably about this big, and there's only a flap of carpet that's covering it. So anything can get in. Bugs can get in, and they do. So our main issues are ants, big, huge carpenter ants, and spiders. I've had 2 incidents with spiders. The first incident, and these are not like little baby spiders, these are like spiders the size of your hand, like wolf spider. I don't know what kind of spider it is, but I'm not even exaggerating, literally as big as my hand. So the first encounter we had, I woke up in the middle of the night to my son screaming hysterically. Like, I've never heard him scream. And I thought he was hurt. Obviously, you're in a dead sleep, you wake up to your child screaming bloody murder, you're gonna jump up. So I jump up, I run down the stairs, and my son is just stomping his feet and pointing at the wall. First of all, that is terrifying at 3 o'clock in the morning from a dead sleep, where you're like, what? And your child is just, ah, ah. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? So I turn around, and sure enough, the spider's legit right there on the wall, and I walked right past it. The thing could have jumped on me. Thank God it didn't. But yeah, so I had to wake up my husband. He came and took care of that situation. Not fun. The second incident was when we just came back from Tennessee. I came to check on my fish. I have one little baby fish. He lives in my closet. I came to check on my baby fish. I open up the closet door. I look at my fish. He's still alive. And I look up, and there's another huge spider. Same species. Same size. Up on the ceiling. So I scream. Hysterical. Ah! I scream because the thing's like right over my head. I'm like looking in at my fish, and there's a big spider. So I'm like, Mike! So my husband comes in, and I already know he's gonna miss. I'm like, yeah. He's coming in with a shoe in the closet. It was like an awkward thing to get. Sure enough, he hits it. It drops down behind my towels, behind all my stuff. There's no way of getting this thing. And I told him, I'm not sleeping in this room if the spider is not found tonight. And this was nighttime. So we go out in the living room. It's probably an hour goes by. We come back in, and he's out. The spider is out, crawling to get to the ceiling. And I'm like, you gotta kill him. Now, we had actually gone to Walmart and got a spider killer in the midst of all this. So my husband comes with the spider killer, sprays the dang thing. It falls down, crawls under my bed. In the RV, my bed underneath it is all mechanical. So because of the slides, so you can't get under the bed. It's just literally maybe a centimeter to get under the bed, and you just can't. So this spider crawled under the bed. And I told my husband, I'm not sleeping in this bed until you find the spider. So he comes out, another hour or so goes by. We come back in. The spider is out above my bed, above where I sleep. And he's crippled from the spray and from being hit. But this spider was he was just ready to live. He crawled, scaled the wall with 2 legs left, and he was just waiting. I don't know what he was waiting for, but he got killed at that point. My husband just had to come in, and we had to take care of it, and it was gone. So the bugs are annoying and terrifying at times, but there's really not a lot we can do. We spray, we have pest control, professional grade stuff coming in, and it is what it is. There's a lot of openings in the RV, so you just want to figure you're basically camping, so you can kind of expect to have some bugs coming in your house. Alright, so another con is my husband likes to buy in bulk. So my husband is the type that will look at a box of cereal, and you know how they have the smaller size and the bigger size, and the bigger size usually saves maybe 2 cents. I don't know, it's not a big amount. So my husband will buy the huge one to save those 2 cents. So he likes to go to Sam's Club, and he likes to buy things in bulk. Mainly wipes and paper plates and cups and bottled water, things like that. But it's difficult when you have limited space. We don't have a pantry. We don't have a lot of room in our refrigerator, in our cabinets. So I'm constantly, our freezer is always full, constantly having to open things, take them out of the box so that they can fit. Back in our house, we actually had a designated freezer that was the size of a regular refrigerator. It was just a freezer, and we would keep all the bulk products, the waffles, the things like that you can get, you know, in bulk. So it's been difficult because it's a hard habit to break, and my husband to buy the smaller portions and buy the smaller amounts. So we've had to get creative with finding how to store these items. We do have an outdoor kitchen, so we store a lot of like the paper products out there, the excess paper products, but it's still tricky to kind of fit everything. And sometimes like weeks can go by and things will be out, like cases of water and canned goods and things like that, where they'll just be on the table because there's no room in the cabinets. So that gets a little frustrating. Okay, so those are like my main pros and cons, and then I just wrote down some of the questions that you guys had. One of them was, what do I miss most about living in a regular home? I think we kind of touched on this. A good washing machine, personal space, not being able to host family functions. That's a huge one. When I lived in my house, like I constantly had my family over for Thanksgiving, like 30 people, like not small little get-togethers, like 30, 40 people, birthday parties, holidays, things like that. And I really do miss that. Like when I was doing it, it was kind of like, ugh, like this is a lot of work, but I really enjoyed it. I love to prepare meals for people. I love to see people enjoying the food that I make, and I love family togetherness. So it's been difficult, and birthdays especially, like for my son, like I could care less about my birthday, to be honest. Take me to a restaurant, like let's go get dinner, that's fine. But for my son, like he's at the age where birthday parties are a thing. So like this past birthday party, we actually ended up doing it at the bowling alley, and I really wanted to do like a water slide for him and have like the Paw Patrol characters come, and it just didn't work out. Like my mom didn't want to host it, my mother-in-law didn't want to host it, so we didn't really have a house to be able to say, hey, let's go ahead and get this big bouncy slide and hook it up to the hose, you know, like. So that was a little frustrating because I like to just be able to do what I want to do, especially for my son. So that's definitely been something that I miss, being able to have the family functions and have people over. We do, like my sisters come over, my parents have come over, but we don't really have a lot of space to entertain people, so not a lot of people come and visit us, and that kind of stinks. I really do like having company, so that I miss a little bit, but it's okay. Once we get our house, we'll start partying again. Another thing, let's see, monthly expenses we talked about, unexpected expenses we talked about, things I would change in the RV. The only thing that I would really change is the setup, because when my husband had it delivered here, he didn't put the blocks under the what are they called? The jacks, like the hydraulic system, where they're stabilizers. Okay, the stabilizers, I couldn't think of it. So the stabilizers that come down and stabilize your RV and support your RV, you're always supposed to secure with like either a big slab of wood, or they have these like yellow stacking blocks, which are really hard plastic that can support the hydraulic system. And my husband didn't put that down. So right now, because we are on paved ground, my husband thought, you know, we didn't really need it. But one side of our RV is like the pedestal is like half on the concrete, half in the dirt, so it's kind of like teetering. I notice it bowing out a little bit, and quite often we have to re-level and adjust the RV. And because we're not on a truck, we can't just lift them up and put the blocks under there at this point. We just kind of have to leave it until we're ready to move the RV. So that's like really the only thing that I would change, like, is to just set it up a little bit more securely, because we do get a little worried that it's not good for the hydraulic system, and obviously you don't want to break that, because that would be an expensive fix. So that would be the only one on my list. And the only, things you do in an RV that you don't do in a house. So I just have a couple of things. Emptying the tanks, so the black tank, which is your toilet tank, You don't have to empty that obviously in a house. It just goes into your sewer and you're done. You just flush the toilet, you're done. In an RV, you only have so much space in your tank, and then you have to actually empty it out. So about once a week I'll go out there and flush out the tank completely. It's about a 5-minute process. You just let it drain completely, close it up. And I think I showed this in my last video about the RV. I'm not sure, but I did show, or maybe it was my cleaning video. I think it was my cleaning video. If you haven't seen that, you can check that out, and I actually show you how I empty out the black tank. That is my responsibility, because when my husband agreed to moving into this RV, that was part of the deal. I would handle that part, so it's not a big deal at all. It's not a dirty job. Although we did have an issue where my son flushed wipes down the toilet. This is a huge no-no. If you're thinking of getting an RV and you have little ones, you have to teach them early, like immediately, do not put wipes down the toilet. What ended up happening is it got clogged because they don't break down. They just don't break down the fabric. So what happened is you got to figure you have a tube. So you have your tank, and then you have like a tube that's probably about this big, and then everything has to come out of that tube and go down into the sewer here that's hooked up to just a hose. So what was happening is here you have this sheet of wipe and you have the pipe, so it got stuck like this. So it was like in here, so all the stuff's trying to come through and it just wouldn't go through. So I was out there for a good 20 minutes, like messing with the lever that closes it and opens it to try and like dislodge it, and it just wasn't happening. We actually ended up having to call a plumber, and it was so disgusting, like the most disgusting thing I've ever seen, because he literally, like, there's only one way in and one way out when it comes to draining your tank. So he literally had to open the tank and stick the snake up in the tank to dislodge it, and then all that stuff came pouring out on this guy. Like, I felt horrible because it was disgusting. So he literally like pulled out the wipe, and then all of the crap, literal crap, just came out, all gushed all on his arm. I was like, what a job, that's disgusting. Then he's like, oh, it's good now, it's good now, and he left. And then I was like, no, I don't think it's good. Like, something told me it's not good. So I drained it again. Sure enough, it got clogged immediately again. There was another wipe in there. I had to call this poor guy back, and he had to do the same thing. So he didn't get it once. He got it twice in one day. And I felt awful, but he was like, I'm making sure we got this. So he just cleaned it out really good, and we got all the wipes out, and you could see like the wipes came out, so you saw. So it was just like $100 that unnecessarily, you know, we didn't really anticipate that happening, but it was a good lesson for my son to never do that again, because that's a big deal. If your tank blocks up and it breaks, and that could be a very, very expensive fix. So you just have to be really cautious, and you also have to be careful of the chemicals you use. So that does fall under differentiating between being in a house and being in an RV. You can't just pour bleach down, and I did though. Like, I was like breaking all the rules because I was so desperate to get this thing unclogged, but I poured some bleach into the toilet, and it literally smoked because it was so filled with bacteria. It was so disgusting that it just like smoked up. It was crazy, wild. But it did rinse out when the guy came, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But you really can't use like regular chemicals to clean your toilet and your sink and your shower. You have to use like natural products, which is better anyway, but there are times where you just need a little bleach, especially in the toilet. So that's kind of gross. That's kind of been like a struggle, having to like scrub it without bleach. But it'll start to corrode the rubber. So all of the sewage system and everything, it has like rubber seals on everything. So the bleach will tend to eat away at the rubber, and that's why you cannot use those products in your RV. So that's different from a house, obviously. And then another thing is sweeping the roof. So in an RV, you actually have to consistently go up, probably about once a month, every other month. My husband's kind of been slacking on that, but you have to go up on the roof and literally sweep off any debris, excess water puddles, things like that. Because we have so many trees around us, things fall on the RV all the time. And when it rains, sometimes because the slides, they actually have like a leather fabric, that kind of like an awning fabric that rolls out with the slide just to protect the mechanisms. So what happens is, because the slides are out 24/7, when it rains, it bows down. The weight on the fabric bows down, and then it'll start to pool, and then leaves will collect, and it's just not good for the fabric and the awning. So we have to consistently go up there and check. There are also little drains that run along the perimeter of the RV. They almost act like gutters. They're just very skinny, and those constantly get leaves in them as well, and you need to sweep that out so that way we can make sure that the drainage is flowing properly. And also the air conditioning units are up on the roof, and you have to make sure that your pipes and your air conditioning unit is in good shape, and that there's no leaves or water collecting around it. So that's a little different. Obviously in a home you do clean your gutters, but you're not sweeping your roof usually. So that's something that I wrote down as a difference. But all in all, we have loved living in the RV. I think that's all I wrote down. Yeah. We have loved living in this RV. I plan to do some more videos about it because these videos seem to do really well on my channel. You guys seem to be interested. I'm going to be doing a video of a full makeup tour, how I store all my makeup and how I store my stuff and keep everything organized. And I might do a video on some other organizational things because I know a few of you were interested in that. If you are interested in anything in particular about my RV living or any other aspect of my life, please leave it in the comment section below, so that way I'll be sure to make a video on it. I love to keep you guys entertained, and I want to give you content that you enjoy watching. So please let me know, communicate with me, and let me know what you would like to see. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know I've been rambling for about 30 minutes, but I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this, and I really do hope to see you on the next one. Thanks guys, bye.